What's up, everyone? It's Kara here, and I took to Instagram last night and decided to show you guys a nice little picture of my shelf booty that I built, that I've worked so hard on. But part of what I put in my post was mentioning that I myself were in prime competition season right now, and while I haven't committed to competing, I haven't totally said I'm not going to, but I'm just not there yet right now. But I know a lot of people are. This is bikini season. Everyone, especially locally in Syracuse, New York, there's some local OCB, WNBF shows coming up, and everyone's getting ready to prep. And I feel like I am just such a good source of information for what to do. And part of why I started this channel back in the day, in 2011, was to help others with prepping for a show, what to expect. And I know it's a bit more saturated now, but as you guys know, I did earn my pro card this past year, and I kind of want to just help others out. So on Instagram, I asked you guys, what kinds of things do you still want to know about bikini prepping? Let me know, I'll answer it in videos. So I'm going to kind of start doing a series on that, and we'll put it in a separate playlist. So for dudes that might be here, although my dude audience isn't very big anymore, but you don't have to stay. Fit Trucker and Dennis Prasad, you do, but others you can click off. We'll keep it in a separate playlist, but I'm going to keep adding videos to this so you guys have something to reference. A lot of people have said my bikini prep series in the past were super helpful to them, so I want to still be helpful to you guys because I feel like I've got a lot of good information to share. So one of the first questions I'm going to answer, and these are all going to be separate videos, but for today's video, I'm going to talk about how to go about finding the right competition. And then part of that was also, which this could probably be a whole separate video, but I'll throw this in there as well, is finding a coach. So to talk about finding the right competition, I get asked this all the time when I get coaching requests and when I sign up my bikini clients, because they're always uncertain, if one avenue is the right way to go versus the other. Like, should I do MPC versus natural? A lot of people, I think, like the idea of doing a natural organization. I think it sounds like less scary because MBC is hardcore, right? I think they're all hardcore. I think you have to know going into a bikini competition, there's no easier route. There's no easier organization to choose at this point. It's 2017. Everyone loves bikini competitions. You can talk to anyone and they know someone who's been in a bikini competition, right? So it's super popular, and it's very cutthroat, I think, in terms of the level of competition. The level of girls you're going to see at these shows is so much different than it used to be back in 2011. The caliber of the bodies that are being brought, the fine-tuning of posing, the look, girls coming out there in their first show and just having that full-on looking like a pro in their first show is crazy. But that's the type of competition you're getting right now. So in terms of picking one organization over another as what's the easier kind of route to kind of start out in, I don't think one's easier than the other. I really don't. And though most of my competitions the past year and a half were in natural organizations, I made the decision to go to natural because I kind of preferred the thought of it being, in my mind, more fairly judged, I guess, because if you don't know, MPC is not a drug-tested organization. So that's your biggest difference there, is your drug-tested versus non-drug tested organizations. And you might think most bikini girls, why would they do drugs? But you never know. What I would suggest you do, now that I've rambled for how many minutes, is the way I like to do it, and I think you need to simplify this as much as possible, because prepping for a show, it's your life. Okay, it's gonna take over your life. So you wanna make things as simple and things that make the most sense with your lifestyle. It doesn't matter what Jenny from the block's doing, okay? You need to do what's best for you. So if that's waiting and finding a show that's local to you, that's right in your hometown, if that's finding a show that's maybe, close to your parents, somewhere you're gonna go visit and it makes sense because you're gonna travel there, then try to seek out shows, I think, that are in proximity to you or in proximity to a place that you're going to be. I think it creates a lot of stress having to travel extremely far for your first show. So that's like I think the easiest way to kind of like figure out what show is best for you is looking for something that's close to you. So if it's an MPC show, or if it's OCB, or if it's IMBF, or if it's WBFF, whatever it is, just find what makes most sense to you in terms of location. And then the next thing that was always important to me, and I think should be important to you as well, is posing. And that's another big difference you're going to find between all the different organizations is posing. So, you have to do a little bit of studying to find out what posing looks like in each of the different organizations and go from there. So, for a while there, MPC posing just appealed to me more. I liked it better, and that's why I stuck with MPC shows. And then, I made the switch, and now I absolutely love being able to go out there and do my little T-walk and look all sassy and shake my big booty. That's fun, okay? So it's gonna depend on you, your personality, what you feel comfortable with, okay? And to find location, you kind of know what posing you want to do. How do you nail down a show? You just have to get on the computer, start Googling, start looking at the different organizations. We are now in 2017. At this point, every organization probably has put out a calendar of what shows they're doing, when and where. It's not to say those won't change, and it's not to say they may not open up more shows throughout the year. So the best thing you can do is go through and maybe start following different show organizers, promoters on social media. That's going to help keep you better informed of when shows are coming around. The other suggestion I would have is email some promoters. You'll be able to get promoters' names online, email them, and find out if anything's coming local to you. So I think those are my best tips for finding a competition that's going to be best for you. Think about what's most important for you on show day. If it's having your family there, then maybe you don't want to pick traveling across country for your first show. So those are some of the kinds of things you need to ask yourself with picking your first show. Now, with finding a coach to go along with your first show, the one thing I will say is, I do recommend having a coach. I can say I don't know how many times I've competed, I've kind of coached myself in some of my shows, but I've always had someone I've gone to for that second eye, for that advice, So even coaches, even pros in the sport, they still like to have coaches. It's something I recommend. It's obviously an additional expense, and there's different ways of going about it. But what's most important, I think, about finding the coach and finding the right coach, and the biggest mistake you will make is going by cost. Okay, so I get it. Bikini competitions are super expensive. It's a lot of money. You spell it out on paper, it makes you feel a little uncomfortable because you can think about a lot of other ways that you could be spending that money, right? Than on some hooker bikini you're not going to be able to wear at the beach this summer. But so you look at it and you're like, it's one more expense, and it's a big expense, right? So you have to see the value in it. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now who are selling prep plans and meal plans, and I'm a health coach because I competed once. And, I'm not saying being a registered dietitian dictates who can be a good prep coach, because I don't think that's true. I think in terms of me being a registered dietitian and a prep coach, that's just like a bonus because I'm going to care about your health. But what I'm saying is, because I can't take all of you as clients, my number is limited. What I want you to do is not just look at cost. I want you to really interview the person. There's nothing wrong with that. I like it when clients email me and they're like, this is what I want you to know about me. Is this going to fit well with you? Let's talk about it. Let's have some dialogue. Let's figure out if we're going to flow together. If you don't know me on a personal level, we got to make sure we jive, especially if communication is going to be based online versus in person. So, think about those two different aspects. If it's not someone face-to-face and you're going through an online forum, you need to think about if you're going to really jive with this person. Do they Do they kind of fit well with what your goals are in the sport? Do they kind of get you? Do they understand where you're coming from? Do they know what your concerns are? Do they support you in those concerns? Or are they a coach that's just going to do whatever I need to do to get you to first place? It doesn't matter if we lose your period. It doesn't matter if, you're passing out and going to the ER 1 week before your show. This is what you have to do. There's those types of coaches. So just take the time to investigate a little bit, interview people. Yeah, sometimes you have to make a quick decision because, people might put the pressure on you that the spots are limited. You got to hurry up, right? But you should take the time to kind of figure out if it's going to be a good fit. There's no point in wasting your time or money or the coach's time and money. So really try to see if it's going to be a good fit for you. A lot of people are coaches who are on social media. So, I get that a lot with people that email me that they feel like they kind of know my personality from watching my videos. So they feel like it would be a good fit. They feel a little bit more comfortable working with me. If you're going with someone on social media who you've never spoke to before and they're just like on Instagram and it may not be a bad idea to see if you can have a phone call with them or do something to kind of get more information about them. But I really urge you to make sure your coach is going to have your health in their best interest. And unfortunately, I don't think many coaches will because it's a job. It's a number one job. For a lot of people, it's their only job. It's their moneymaker. And, they just want to get that cash. It sounds shitty. I might get some hate for it, but it's true. A lot of people just want to get the client, get the money. I've turned down countless people that I won't work with because I don't think it's a good fit, because health reasons I don't think it's going to be a good fit. I've told people I'm not going to prep you because you're not ready to compete. You need to find a coach who's going to be honest with you and you're going to feel like you can be honest with, okay? It's hard to tease out. It's a lot of pressure, right? But it's something you should look into. And I do want you to see the value of having a coach assist you in this process, because whether it's your first competition or your 10th, it can be really challenging at times. Even myself, it's you second guess yourself even though you're doing the right things. And sometimes all you need to hear from your coach is, you know what, Kara? You are doing awesome. You are kicking ass. You're making me proud. I know you're working hard, and I just want you to just keep at it. And sometimes all you need is that one power statement to just power you up, make you feel good when you're depleted and your energy's low, to get you through the next day of fasted cardio or whatever it may be. So you kind of need to have someone in your back corner. You need to have someone in it for the ride with you, and some people may have that with a good support system. You guys know I have that with Jason. You may have that with your loved ones, but then sometimes you gotta think, are they biased or not? You do want to have kind of that neutral set of eyes saying, you know what, we gotta tighten this up. We gotta increase cardio, or you need to have someone who's gonna be okay with being honest with you as well. And so if you're going into a competition, you're feeling overwhelmed with everything, a coach can kind of assist you in how to process everything. And at least that's what I try to do with people. So in terms of how to find the right coach, I kind of talked about what a good coach is, so maybe that's different. But in terms of finding the right coach, right now I'd say the biggest thing is social media. They're all out there, or looking locally. Sometimes I think it is great to find someone that you can, at least maybe you do online interaction, but it's always great if you can see them in person at some point throughout the prep process, because pictures, what you look like in pictures is always going to be different than what you look like in person. So a coach is always going to be able to give you the best advice and really kind of know what you're working with if they can see you face to face. So those are some other things to look for. So I think I'm going to stop there because I feel like I've rambled enough about finding the right competition, finding the right coach. And for those of you, I mentioned before, coaching is expensive. I did put a lot of time and effort into offering a cheaper option, so you guys can check out karacorey.com. I have a free week trial there. You guys can try out, see if you like it. You don't have to put any money into it. But I do have a 12-week bikini 12-week program to get you to where you need to be for stage day, and it's money back guarantee. So that's another option for you. You guys can check that out. And I'm going to keep doing these videos. I've got lots of suggestions from you, but please feel free to comment below some other little questions you have, things you want to know more about, and lots more videos coming, you guys. So I hope you found this helpful. Please, please, please share this with your other little bikini friends who are prepping this season, and I hope to help as many of you out as I can. We'll see you in the next one.